my undead friends. Welcome to my first video. I recently took a dream trip to South Korea to pick up my brother who had been living there for 2 years. We ended up backpacking the whole country, starting in Seoul and then going to Busan and flying over to Jeju. Jeju is pretty much Korea's version of Hawaii. It was my first time traveling outside of the American continent and I was hyped! South Korea had always felt like a magical place to me. The food, the architecture, the music, the K-dramas, the men. Anyways, I brought a sketchbook along to document the trip, and I can't wait to share it with you. Let's flip through it together. For the cover, I combined a few things that I associate with Korea. Karaoke rooms, boba drinks, this cute heart signal they make with their hands, and of course the Gyeongbokgung Palace. Visiting the palace felt like it's stepping back in time, and I loved every minute of visiting it. I included these cute little stickers I picked up along the way. The first page is sort of an introduction. I painted this picture before actually visiting. It's one of the pictures my brother took while he was living there. I included the cat, as well as added at the top these Sanrio characters. Sanrio characters are very popular in South Korea, and you could pretty much get a plush of one of the characters at any department store. Our first stop was Las Vegas Airport, is how we were ending up getting to Korea. While waiting in the airport, I sketched this beautiful woman as well as one of the slot machines. And then on the flight, I ended up sketching these cute kids who were snuggled up while everyone was sleeping. Needless to say, I didn't sleep too much at the beginning of the flight. We had a 9-hour layover in Hawaii, so we ended up heading to the beach where I saw this dad teaching his kid how to surf for the first time. I had to capture the moment. There were also these beautiful birds that loved to circle around this clock. Our first day in Korea was wet. We came during monsoon season, so the rain was our constant companion. On the bright side, a kind woman gave a yellow umbrella, which I kept for the entire trip. We wandered Seoul without much of a plan, but it got me to be able to look into a little bit of Korean fashion. In Seoul, the clothing is very different than America. The women wear more formal clothing as everyday casual things. Dresses and skirts were very common, but they wore plenty of shorts and jeans too. But the jeans usually had blouses. It was a very fancy look, and I want to incorporate it a little bit into my own fashion. The next day we visited the Korean War Museum. One of my favorite parts was learning about Yi Sun-shin, a naval commander with an incredible story of how he defended Korea from Japanese invaders using these ships. The ships are called turtle ships because the top was covered with a spiky shell. They're pretty much tanks on the water. I also sketched one of my brothers recreating a funny pose we saw a mannequin wearing Korean armor. I think he nailed the expression perfectly. Later that day, we met up with my brother who'd been living there. It was so good to see him again after 2 years. His friend ended up treating us to a traditional Korean meal. Fun fact about Korea, when you go to a restaurant, they don't give you any utensils up front. There's actually a little compartment on the side of your table that you pull out and you grab your utensils and napkins out from. Our first day, we were very confused by this. Next, we visited the Gyeongbokgung Palace, which is over 600 years old. It has been beautifully restored after multiple attacks over centuries, and it's like stepping into history. Each location has a story attached. If you visit, I highly recommend renting a hanbok, the traditional Korean dress. You get free entry and gorgeous photos. These awesome tourists helped us get onto another bus after we missed ours. They They also told us of some fun places we could visit while we were traveling from Seoul to Busan. When we arrived at Busan, it felt like a totally different vibe. Seoul has a very cyberpunk feel, where Busan felt more like a blend of Asian and Western influences, mostly because the American base had taken place close to Busan during the war. I also got to try bingsu for the first time. It's like a snow cone but with shaved milk instead of ice. One of the highlights was the Haedong Yeonggunsa Temple, located right on the coast. It has bridges, cliffside walkways, and statues of Chinese zodiac animals. I sketched the tiger, which is my zodiac sign, as well as some of my brothers. This one's the year of the snake. Happy New Year. This was my favorite temple by far that we got to visit. Later that day, we ended up visiting some of the downtown things in Busan. We got to visit the fish markets. Unfortunately, a fly died at our soup. We couldn't finish it. And we had a very interesting meal. Because of the fresh fish markets, you could get fresh fish right off of the ocean. We ended up getting some eel as well as octopus, where they cut off the legs and would serve it to you with the legs still moving. I would not recommend eating it. It kind of tasted like crab, but was very wriggly, to say the least. There is also this really cute kitty. As we left for Busan for Jeju Island, I sketched this giant frog statue at the airport. It was created for the World Expo, which unfortunately went to Dubai instead of Korea because they got outbid. And then, when we got on our plane, Korean Air played a safety video featuring BTS. It was the most entertaining safety briefing I've ever seen. Jeju was stunning, filled with waterfalls, lush trees, and amazing scenery. Renting a car is essential here since public transportation isn't as reliable as on the mainland. That is one thing I would change when we visit again. I got really sick and ended up having to watch Spider-Verse instead of exploring on our second day on Jeju. I wanted to watch Korean dramas, but I couldn't keep my eyes open that long, which is unfortunate. I did end up getting to draw some of the things that my family got to visit while I was sick. Apparently, Jeju is known for its black pork, and it was one of the best meals that my family had of the trip. It was unfortunate I had to miss out. Back in Seoul, we visited a bustling marketplace. I picked up some fun souvenirs, like a cute plushie of this little otter. And at the mall, I was able to pick up this Howl's Moving Castle and Spirit Away art books, which I ended up giving one to a friend and keeping one for myself. We got to visit the Starfield Mall, and they have this beautiful tree made completely out of paper. Something else that was fun on our trip was these helper robots. They ended up helping us at one of our hotels and were the room service. We had to order room service specifically just so that we could see these robots come up and deliver the food. In my sketchbook, I included this picture of my family walking through the rain. It felt fitting because of how often it had rained. As well as glued in some travel pamphlets and receipts and a few ads that I picked up along the way. These are a few little extra scenes of Korea that I added in afterwards of photos I'd taken. And that brings us to the end of the sketchbook. Thank you so much for flipping through this with me. Korea was a dream come true, and I'm already itching to go back. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more art adventures. Until next time, stay undead, my friends. Bye!